Welcome back to Frank's Model Aviation Workshop. This will be episode 7 in the Carl Goldberg Ultimate 10-300 Biplane build series. And in this episode, we'll be starting to build on the top wing. And I was thinking, since the top wing builds exactly like the bottom wing, what I'm going to do is do most of this build on the top wing in fast speed, and then do it in normal speed when we get to the sections that require top wing detail, so that you can see how that's done. But the rest of it's built just like the bottom wing. I think the only difference is the center section where that little plastic tube goes and the eyelets and stuff. There's no servo mount or anything like that in there. It's fully sheeted on the center. So we'll get to doing that, and that way this video will be fairly quick and short. Then we'll be on to finishing up both wings with the trailing edges, ailerons, and beveling and all that stuff. So anyway, if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified of future episodes of this build series or any other build series you might be interested in. And be sure to like and share my videos. I'd really appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the first half of the wing framed up. I gotta do the other half now. I don't know if you guys noticed, but or had any issues with these super thin CAs. When you go to use them, they just pour all over the place. Well, I discovered something. If I can do it on camera, I'll try, but I discovered that if you hold it like this instead of like this, you have more control over the glue. So here's a demonstration of holding it like this. Okay, it really comes out fast. But if you hold it like this, you can literally hold it upside down and it just barely leaks out. You got more time, in other words. But yeah, I was noticing that if I hold it, when I was holding it like this, and I get down close to the part, before I even got ready to glue it, it was coming out. But this is not a full bottle anymore anyway. But if you hold it like this, you can control the vacuum, I guess, inside the bottle and get down there closer. See how I'm doing that? And then you let up on the vacuum. There's your glue. I don't know. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you already knew that. And if you did, why didn't you tell me? Anyway, I just discovered that. I thought I'd share in case anybody else is having that issue. So anyway, we'll get on to doing the other half of the wing. It's going fairly quick, but it's tedious anyway. So let's get going. Another thing I wanted to show, on the top wing, it gets that hole drilled here, so I like to go ahead and put a groove. I don't know if that's coming in, but I like to put a groove in that leading edge there on both sides, so when you get it finally put together, you'll at least have a decent starting point for a drill bit. So, and it'll go straight in. Just a little hint. Okay, we are now at the point in the build where we have to put the stuff in the center for the tube that goes through. I already got my hole drilled in the front, and I just used this centering tool to get her in there, so it's already set. That's for that pin that's going to go through. So all I got left to do here is to glue these doublers in, which I have to adjust the length of, and glue this plate in, which I already adjusted. It's good to go in. But we'll get ready to adjust these and put them in there. I'm just over there on my perma-grip bar, making sure these things are even with one another, so I get a good glue joint there. So let's test fit these. Still a little snug. And just a hair. Okay, that's good. That one's pretty good. So I'm going to use this plate as a guide to make sure those two are perfectly aligned with one another. So that one I want to go on the bottom. Actually, I think I'm going to use these. Well, that can't be. Hold on. Okay, so that might work better. This is how I'm going to line them up. Just put them in and butt them up to those. I'm going to pin these so I don't move them. keep making minor adjustments. There we go. That will work. This top wing went together pretty quick. And with that, now we will glue this part on. Making little adjustments so it fits in there perfectly. And that hole lines up just where it's supposed to be too. Next step is to do the shear webs, which we already did with the lower or the bottom wing. So I'll go ahead and put us back into fast speed till we get to the point where we do some more top wing stuff. It's looking pretty decent. I got a glue safety tip you might want to consider. I don't know if anybody else has done this that's built models before. I'm pretty sure somebody else has done it. But I'm gluing in my shear webs, and I had my thin and medium CA out there, and I wanted to glue it in with medium CA. So what do? I grab the thin CA with my shear web, and I pour thin CA all over my hand and the shear web. So I'm scrambling to clean it up before I glue myself to the shear web or my fingers together. But luckily it didn't glue me together. I got it quick enough. And you always want to think where you're putting your hands when you have thin CA, on your hands, because it grabs right now. So anyway, we'll get back to building. I'm done with my shear webs. We're getting ready to sheet the leading edge and trailing edge. I'll do it all in fast speed because we already did that with the bottom wing. Okay, the top of the bottom wing is done. We are now ready to do the the top of the top wing. No, the bottom of the top wing. This is so getting confusing doing a biplane. Anyway, the bottom of the top wing is complete. We flipped it over, and now we're getting ready to add in the structure needed for that little clear tube and the little eyelets that go in. So before I do that though, I'm going to go across and sand, get the wing sanded ready for sheeting, because after that's put in, I want to get right to sheeting. So put you in fast speed to get sanding done. Then I'll come back and we'll start. I'll show you that center section for the top wing. Okay, I pre-fitted these die-cut plates, plywood plates, and they have marks on them that I made sure they were centered as I was trimming it up. I made sure it was centered in the wing, so when I put this rod in, it'll immediately go right to the eyelet. So what we got to do is drill 30-second hole in these die-cut plates, glue in these eyelets, install the tube in between them, and that's basically it for the top wing differences, and then the rest of it just gets sheeted. So we'll get to drilling that, and I'll be back. Okay, got the holes drilled, and we will proceed to glue these in. Well, first we got to glue these eyelets in. They'll go in first. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make the flange proud, and then I'm going to push it into the glue. I think that'll be the best way to do it. Using medium CA. Make sure you don't get any glue down in the eyelet hole. Now we can glue that in. And what I like to do is make sure that rod will go through into the eyelet, and boom, goes right in. And that's pretty tight fit. I mean, that's a 16th. So if you drill a 16th hole, you might not even need the rubber band that they have you use, because that's a pretty tight fit. But I'd still put a rubber band in there anyway, because I'm paranoid like that. So let's glue this in. Just putting a liberal fillet of glue on this die cut plate. Make sure it's in there really nice. Okay. Now the same thing with this back one. I want to make sure that the hole is centered in the wing, which that's the center. So I'll do the same thing with it. I'll glue the eyelet in. And this gets glued in. And I'll bring you around and show you what it looks like. You probably can't see what I'm doing here. After I get everything done. Okay. Next, this tube goes in. And you may have to trim it. This one may trim just a hair off the end of it. This doesn't need glued. Yeah, that's good. But wouldn't hurt to put like a little fillet of glue along that edge there. All right, I'll bring it around and show you what it looks like. Okay, there's the die cut plates with the flanged eyelet in there. The eyelets face the outside. That eyelet there goes to this side, the flange. And I just put a little glue fillet, you know, on either side. Now this rod here goes right here. And if you did it right, it'll line right up. I know my first Ultimate, I played hell getting that thing to make it into that first eyelet. I must have been way off, but that goes in just perfect. And I think I'm going to leave it just like that. All right, so that is the center section of the top wing all done. All I got left to do is sheet the leading edge, trailing edge, do the center sheeting and the cap strips, and the top wing is done, and we are on to doing the trailing edge and the ailerons. Sweet. All right, I heard everybody yelling, "Hey, you forgot something." Well, you're right. I forgot to make the slots for this top part of the cabane to mount the wing. So I'll bring you in and we'll do that. Okay, so all we basically have to do is hold this in place and cut a slot in the sheeting with the knife. Probably blocking the I'm going to be careful doing this. Want your slots to be nice. And I'm butchering it. And I'll test fit this whenever I get the slots cut. Hard to do this with the camera there, but I'll get her done. I'll clean that up. What do I do with the, there it is. Nice. So I'm just going to clean this slot up just a little bit, and then I'm going to harden it with some thin CA. Might need to make those holes bigger, not bigger, but clean them out a little bit. I think they got rust in them. Yeah, I'm just taking this centering gauge and making those holes clean. Probably got rust in them. And I will try it again. Should work. Well, there goes 1,000 knives on the floor. There. It's in. Now I'll take this out and I'll harden those slots with thin CA, give them a little sanding, and it'll be all right. Okay, holes or the slots are hardened. Rod works perfectly. Now I'm going to turn this back over. Get this mounted back up on the jig, and hopefully I don't get any hanger rash while I'm doing it. And we will get to finishing up the top of the top wing. I'll put you in fast speed for that. Well, we finally did it. We finished the top and the bottom wing to the point where now we're going to put on the trailing edges, do the ailerons, and get them finished up. That was quite the journey, and the worst part about doing a biplane is you get two wings. But that's, all part of the hobby. It's fun. I like to build them. Anything really. But I'm going to call this the end of this episode. This is part 7 of the Carl Goldberg Ultimate 10-300 Biplane Build Series. Next episode, we will complete the wings and probably start on the fuselage. We'll see about that. But this one should be fairly short because I did most of it in fast speed, except for the stuff that I wanted to cover for the newbies building the Ultimate Biplane. But turned out pretty good. Over sanded a couple of my cap strips. So I'm gonna have to either sand them off and redo them, or throw some filler on top of them and do it that way. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get to the final sanding stage. Anyway, we'll call this the episode. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of future episodes of this build series or anything else you might be interested in seeing. And be sure and like and share my videos. I'd really appreciate that. So until next episode, thanks for watching.